Think about a typical day. You might read the morning news online, maybe share a political post on social media, or even attend a community candidate meeting. We often take these small things for granted, but these activities are fundamental rights, protected and guaranteed to us by the First Amendment. This amendment didn't just appear out of thin air. It was forged through decades of colonial resistance. Take the 1735 trial of John Peter Zenger. He was a New York printer jailed simply for criticizing the royal governor. Under British law, criticizing the government was a crime, even if your words were entirely true. But Zenger's lawyer argued a revolutionary idea, that the truth cannot be libel. A defiant jury found him not guilty, establishing a foundational American blueprint. The press has a right to hold power accountable. Decades later in Boston, colonists risked everything under the Liberty Tree. Because criticizing the king was forbidden, this tree became a secret stage for fiery protest, once even culminating in the tarring and feathering of a royal tax collector. British soldiers finally chopped the tree down in 1775, but they couldn't kill the fight for individual freedom. When the U.S. Constitution was ratified, it initially lacked a list of individual rights. To secure its passage, James Madison promised explicit protections for personal liberties. True to his word, the Bill of Rights was adopted on December 15, 1791, anchored by the First Amendment as the ultimate shield against government overreach. In just 45 words, it guarantees 5 core freedoms: religion, speech, press, assembly, and petition. But what does that actually look like today? The government can't tell you how to pray, or if you have to pray at all. It means you can practice any religion you'd like, or not practice any religion at all. The First Amendment means you can speak your mind, criticize leaders, and share your truth without fear of censorship. The First Amendment also protects a free press, the watchdog that keeps powerful institutions accountable to the people. The First Amendment protects our right to assemble. This means that we can gather peacefully and protest when we want to see change. It is one of the best tools for local, grassroots action. Lastly, the First Amendment protects our right to petition. It protects our ability to ask federal, state, and local governments to change policies, fix wrongs, or address grievances without fear of punishment or retaliation. These rights don't protect themselves. They rely on everyday citizens to exercise them. When we show up, speak out, and organize right here in Spicewood, we aren't just participating in local politics. We're keeping a 230-year-old promise alive. Your voice is your power. To learn how you can get involved in local civic action, join us at Indivisible Spicewood. Let's make democracy work for everyone.
While I am an attorney, I am not representing Indivisible and not giving legal advice. If anyone needs legal advice, please contact your personal lawyer.
What is the First Amendment?
Amendment 1, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise of religion, and I'm summarizing this a little bit, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of people to peaceably assemble, notice it says peaceably, and to petition the government for redress of grievances.
Why is there so much focus on the First Amendment right now?
We're inundated with all of these news flashes about how American citizens are being deprived of their constitutional rights. But for us to really be able to efficiently and effectively defend our rights, we have to understand the limits of those rights, and we have to understand how they have been interpreted and why that's important.
The Constitution was written in 1787. That was a long time ago. So, what's the relevance of the Constitution in today's political climate?
That's not where we are anymore. So what we have had is various federal courts, including some good members of the U.S. Supreme Court, who interpret the meaning of the First Amendment in certain situations today. And because this is the core of our democracy, the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, the United States Supreme Court, as we all read, and somehow I'm dismayed by a lot of their final decisions, they have the final interpretation.
What should I do if I feel like my First Amendment rights are being violated?
Well, you file a lawsuit. And then once you get into the court system, sometimes people or citizens are seeking injunctions. Get the government to stop an illegal act, whether it's, dealing with customs, ICE, or whether it's dealing with First Amendment, local government, keeping a teacher from saying certain things. It could be an array of things. The important thing about your remedy, when you sue a governmental entity for violation of your federal, statutory, or constitutional rights, you're filing it under a United States Code provision called Section 1983, United States Code, Section 1983. And that is the avenue of recourse for any citizen when those federal, statutory, or constitutional rights have been violated. And there's a monetary remedy to that. Money damages against the government, if proven, right, that can satisfy your claim. So damages are available, and that's important to note.
What if I don't have a lawyer?
We're very fortunate in this country to have some very active legal organizations. And one of those is Democracy Forward. And they have probably 300 or 400 members. When I say members, not just people who access their services, but I'm talking about major organizations that work within their framework.
Okay.
So you also have the Americans for Civil Liberties Union. They kind of work in parcel with the Democracy Forward, and they use our court system to protect democracy.
Do you think it even matters if we file lawsuits against the federal government?
In my opinion, as an attorney, it's kind of the guardrails that are keeping us from really going off in terms of the anarchy. It's a way to hold this administration accountable time and time again. And it provides remedies to individuals whose rights have been violated. So it's kind of like our last chance, our last hope, other than the midterms or an election.
I really don't think I have to worry about my First Amendment rights. I'm not a journalist, and I don't post on social media. Why should I care?
When we go and we engage in protests, one of the things I know that the organizers seem to emphasize is remain civil during the course of this protest, march, whatever it may be. Why are we doing that? We're remaining civil. We're not engaging in anything that would look like a breach of peace or vulgar or offensive, because we want to keep protected by that. We want our protections of the First Amendment to stay through the course of our event and our action. Once you cross the line into vulgar and offensive language, breach of peace, or fighting words, it's not protected.
Does censorship fall under our First Amendment rights?
There was a recent case out very close to where we are. We're in Spicewood, I think. And this was in Llano, what about 40 or 35 or 40 miles from here. And this was a case that went through the court system, like I've been discussing. And this was a situation where you had 7 patrons in Llano who said, "We're mad at you, county commissioners. You just took 17 books off of our public library shelf."
Who prompted them to remove those books?
It was a right-wing group from another state who comes in and tries to stir the pot, create law in other parts of the country that they know are conservative. So this group did that. They encouraged the county commissioners to capitulate and remove the books. 7 patrons in Llano said, nope, we're going to sue you. They go to the Western District here in Austin. The Western District said, you can't remove books like that. County commissioners, that's a violation of what? The First Amendment. Censorship is an individual right. Okay. Well, they weren't going to be satisfied with that answer, being the right-wing groups. The right-wing group got the county commissioners to appeal it. Let's appeal to the Fifth Circuit. Fifth Circuit, I've already discussed that, held with their little panel, which is by, I can't remember, 3 or 4 judges. They said, of course, we agree with the Western District. You have to protect a library's right to allow certain books to stay on the shelf.